we're talking about today, guys, is immigration, immigrants migrating to the UK. Like, it's like this is the question that I have in my head, like, but it's like, guys, did did UK choose immigrants or migrants rather, or did migrants choose the UK? Basically, that's kind of how it is in my head, and I'm like, either ways, what's the benefit for both parties? Hello, guys. Welcome to another interesting episode of Jack My Diary. As you already know, my name is Menah, and with me is.
The view is why.
Guys,
Easy.
the history of
Easy,
this
innit?
podcast, right? Waye has never
You don't believe it.
so easily introduced himself. Waye, what's wrong?
I can't believe it, to be honest.
Oh, no, something is not.
I have no
right.
idea.
Why did you decide to introduce
didn't
yourself
understand.
after 2 seasons? No, not after 2 seasons. Like
I swear.
almost at the end of the second season of this podcast, you decided to just be like, "I'm with you is why." Anyways, we like to see it, guys. Or no, we don't like to see it. We like to trouble, we like to go back and forth and be like, "Why you introduce yourself now? Why you do like this? Introduce yourself to the guest." But anyways, that was easy, guys, today. And yes, I would like to say thank you very much, guys, for your support so far since the beginning of the podcast till we got to this point. It's been immense. Like, it's massive love from you guys, massive support. I know, we'll get to the point where we'll talk about the struggles on this season, like getting to this point, but that's not now, that's for later. Today, what are we talking about today, guys? Today we're talking about
We're talking about the news.
what news?
We're talking about
The news. Why you said the news?
We're talking about
Wait, but-
immigration news.
Let's even leave immigration out of it first off. Let's be like the news.
The news.
The other time you were saying to me, like before we started recording, like you've been watching news of late, and you were trying to like tie it back in the days.
Yeah, back in the day when
my
my
dad would be like,
my
news
dad
at
used
10.
to, news at 9,
No,
NTA. It was 9, and
News
then
at 10.
there was 10, and then the watch NTA, and then the watch channel was at 10.
Just to listen to the same
Honestly,
content,
I'm like-
because it's the same thing. That they're listening to on channels that they're listening to in NTA. But is it not interesting how the things that our parents used to do and would find, oh, these people are boring.
Yeah.
Like, how do you sit down and watch news? See you, why?
Bruv,
Why? Let me tell you. See, in simple words, let me tell you. Like, you're becoming old. Like, you're getting old. I almost said that in Yoruba, but I know we said we're not speaking Yoruba on this episode again. So you know what I was going to say when they say you're getting old, guy. You're getting old.
It's scary, you know.
Is it scary?
It's scary. It's scary. I saw I was like 22, like a few months ago. I swear I was.
A few months
I
ago,
was 22, young, you know.
guys. I'm sure that's 8 years ago.
Cut my hairline now is.
You received it. So
I
see why this adulthood.
swear.
It's a lot of things that would remind you that
Bruv.
you are not as young as you used to be. You're unable to do those things that you just do impulsively. Like your
Bruv.
joints,
Bro,
joints will be.
when I go up the stairs these days and I get to the top, I'm like, I find myself breathing.
Breathing. Same here.
Like, what is happening?
See, I was in the gym this week and I struggled. I struggled with the things I used to do very easily. It's not supposed to have improved, but it's like the joints they're after me.
Oh my God.
Woman, you can't be putting us through this stress. You're not there. No, that can't be. No. I cannot agree with this.
Yeah.
You can't.
Honestly,
You can't tell me that age is telling on me already. No, now how old am I?
He's wrong. He's wrong now. Wrong now.
But guys, no, seriously, this thing is not even funny.
It's not funny.
We can't be getting old like that now. Yes, we want to live long, but we want to keep living like we're 20. Just the way every girl wants to eat and not get fat.
Do you get?
That's literally the same thing with the age.
Do you
But
get?
Moving on from that, from the whole news.
Oh.
Yeah, it feels like lately there hasn't been. Is it lately or there's never good news on the news?
I think the media just thrives on.
It's like,
They thrive
it's
on.
depressing.
Yeah, they thrive on just sharing depressing news and.
I don't understand. Like government, media, broadcasting companies, like please, you need to do better. Maybe yes, you can have those news that's like reality of what is going on, but there's also good things that's happening around the world.
Dedicate
maybe an hour see, we are not even asking for too much. It might not be an hour in a day. Let's start from an hour a week and see how people's mental state would improve. You know, just let us know at this time. It's good news. Good news. It doesn't have to be breaking news. Like, please go and pick it from when it happened long time ago, and bring it to us. Let's have some good news in the news. Like today, they've killed this number of people. These people are fighting. These restrictions are.
Everybody's just fighting these days. Everybody's fighting.
Let us breathe. Like, I mean, you guys have made it seem like there's no good in the world again. Like there are new rules and things that are coming up. Even the government are putting beneficial rules in place that's supposed to be for the public or for the masses. But you don't put that in the news to say, oh, now you can now do this. Oh, we've just passed it into law that you can now choose to work 20 hours a week and get paid as if you're working 40 hours a week. I was joking, guys, but stuff like that. You can now buy a house and not you don't need that exorbitant 10% down payment to buy a mortgage. You can now buy a mortgage with 0% deposit. Like those things should go in the news. These are things you would find on social media.
Right.
Like you guys should take your time and actually create that time and like all you are going to say here is good news. And not bad news because God, you guys are shouting depression, therapy, this. But you guys are part of the problem. You're the one making us depressed with the sort of news that you share on a daily. God, I'm just tired. Like I can't sit down with the TV for an hour. No, you won't even find me there. I'd rather be on my phone. Same with social media. Like for instance, the X, Twitter, whatever it is called now.
How do you call it X? How do you manage it?
See, let me tell you, because I'm on this podcast, I would have said Twitter. It's like you need to sound like you know what is going on. But whatever, someone referred to it as the black app.
Is it black now?
It's black now. The X is in like.
Oh yeah, the X is black.
It's on a black background. I believe.
It's white and it's on a black background.
On a black background. I believe that's what it is. So yeah, it's on the black background either way. It's supposed to be like that black app.
Do you know how much they must have paid the person that designed that?
That designed that. I don't know, but whoever.
I paid a lot of money now.
Please.
I could have designed it.
You could have. Can you do that?
I can design it.
Design Kenny.
Design X.
Design X.
And just put.
No, but it's the name that they choose to call the app that made it that easy.
Do you know when you're rich, there's nothing you cannot do when you're rich. People will just argue that.
Tell me about it.
Elon Musk can do whatever he wants.
That's why he's changed Twitter to X. Like Twitter that we are used to.
You know what I'm saying?
The bird that we are used to. You now change it to letter X. But that's topic for another day. What we're talking about today, guys, is immigration, immigrants migrating to the UK. Like it's like this is the question that I have in my head, like, but it's like, guys, did UK choose immigrants or migrants rather, or did migrants choose the UK? Basically, that's kind of how it sits in my head, and I'm like, either ways, what's the benefit for both parties?
Right.
Who is benefiting from the migrant choosing the UK? Who is benefiting from UK choosing the migrant?
Right.
I believe is the latter.
Yeah, I think it's a win-win. It's a win-win.
Migrant. That's how I think.
It's a win-win
for
both parties. Yeah. Us as migrants.
Who gets to? Yeah, it could be a win-win, but who gets to profit more?
I mean, it is relative. It depends. So, on the one hand, immigrants like myself come here. I came to study. The UK has one of the best schools in the world, but I paid double of what
the regular UK
what a local would pay, what a home student would pay. I paid double of that.
Okay.
So it's a trade-off, really.
Okay.
So I'm getting one of the best educations in the world, but I'm paying so much for that, which is okay. And also the workforce in the UK, the labour market. I'm feeling some of the roles in the labour market, some of the openings in the labour market, and I feel like it's a win-win. the UK economy gets someone as talented as myself.
Shit! Guys,
Someone as
you know why
talented as
he's
myself.
losing
No,
himself.
it's true.
UK government, you are lucky to have this
You are
guy
lucky to
in
have
your
us,
labor
yeah,
market.
in there.
Simple.
Simple,
Case
no power.
closed.
No power.
But yeah, I agree with you. Let me just go back to the academic aspect of
Right.
things and how much money the UK government or the migrant bring into the UK economy just from that academic point of view. Do you know like how many students? So I think I saw in the news like top 3 countries that migrated to the UK between like 2021 and 2023.
It has to be India.
Besides India.
My people.
Besides India, guys, like the next country is Nigeria.
In there.
And God, you know what baffled me the most is we say there is no money back in Nigeria.
Are you
But people
joking?
are able to pay at an average,
Are you
I
joking?
feel like it's about
15 grand.
15,000 pounds.
15 grand, yeah.
Study for 1 year.
In there.
Why? It's a lot of money. And we push that into another economy.
Yeah.
When I'm not just even going to start complaining what the benefit of, like, let's just reverse the case. That 200, whatever the figure was.
That funds,
like,
you know how much
push
it's
it back into
help the
Nigerian economy.
yeah.
Like it's crazy.
It is
So
crazy.
that's how much money we are pumping into this economy by, as migrants coming in. But you still hear things like the citizens, like from statistics that I've seen, they say 8 out of every 10 is saying like the economy is bad. The infrastructure that is meant to be for them and their low population as it used to be is now having to be shared between, this amount of people, about God knows 1.2 million people in addition to what they had previously, around that figure. It's like it's a lot. And the pressure is like it's shocking. And I don't know if I were in their shoes, I might feel the same way. Like you come into my country, like we just talked about in school. Like in school now, you have in every God knows how many you'd find like migrants, whether Nigerian, black, any other black African from any African country, Indian. Like you'd find them in your space. And
you need to understand
that. Be selfish and be like, no, this is not what it used to be. What is going on? Government, like cry out to the government. I mean, particularly in a society where the people do have a say. Like they can come out and say, this is what we want, or we don't want this. And they have a government that would listen to them. Yeah. So I understand that part, but they should also look at the fact that we're making things better. Except, and I cannot be judged though, except if the money that we're pumping into this economy is not pushed back into the system.
Of course it is. It is.
Well, do you have any evidence?
Yeah, 100%. So I used to do some research at work into construction, into the construction industry, and you'd be surprised that the education sector, the tertiary education sector, has a significant impact on the whole construction industry in the UK.
Wow. Tell me
so, and you'd be surprised to know that the international students have a significant role to play in that sector as well.
Is it like laborers?
No.
As subcontractors, it's like
it's not as laborers. So
no, that would be bad. I don't want to be a laborer. I don't want to pay 15,000 average of £15,000 to do a master's in the UK to end up being a laborer. I'm sorry, no. I don't know what you guys might want to say to that, but I'm sorry, no. I'm not doing that. I'll try not go back home. But
if you're a laborer here, you get paid.
Agreed. Agreed. Like the handymen are.
They're
rich. Those guys are rich.
In
this
broski.
They collect cash, and you know what can happen now when you're collecting cash. You know those that you go into and they'll be like cash only.
Cash only.
This restaurant, cash only. You guys are being shady. But I'll leave that to you and HMRC to deal with. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
But that's fine. So take for instance, during COVID, when there was a lot of influx of international students, it really affected the construction industry and tertiary institutions in the UK because they weren't getting a lot of international students. And the international students are the only demographic that pays upfront. So
everything.
so the home students, they get a loan mostly
Yeah.
Only
That
very
they
few.
pay over 35.
So it's literally the
Yeah,
government. It's literally the government paying the schools for you to study. Say you are a student, you're a home student. The government is going to pay the university for you to study, and then you don't pay. So it's literally from the government to the government, something like that.
Okay.
But for international students, we pay cash, double of what a home student is going to pay. We pay cash. We come work part time, help the economy, pay tax, and all these things. It goes a long way into helping these universities. The universities are really really prioritize the international students because of the amount of money
that they push into the system.
system.
Yeah, and I agree with you because I mean, look at what you just said. The government paid the student to let the home students school. I mean, at that point in time when they can afford it.
Yeah.
But I come in and I have to pay in full to 100%. Study. So it's like,
which is fair.
It's my money that you're using to that you're pushing back into the system. Basically, I can be petty and say it's my money that you're using to go to school. Like whatever it might not be everything, but part of my money actually plays a part in the studies that you are getting for free at this moment. Yeah, free or not, even if you have to pay it back. But it's because I'm able to pay that money at that time. The government is able to like recycle and use that in other aspects. Yeah, so I say it's a win-win. The UK economy is really is the UK economy is what's the word now? I'll say that one. Yeah, the international student are helping the UK economy one way or the other, regardless of whether we think it's directly or indirectly. Indirectly. We are helping. We international students help the UK economy, the construction industries, the labour market. So most menial jobs would always want to take students because they know they're going to work minimal hours, 20 hours. They're able to sort out their taxes quickly. They're able to give them, they're able to get a lot of students that want to do something on the side just to make some extra fees. So I think it's a win-win generally. Everyone wins. The UK economy wins. The immigrants win. So I think that's what it is. Yeah, I do agree with you on the impact that the immigrant students now from students' perspective, the impact they have on the UK economy. So that's one part of it. That's one part you could look at as an advantage. Another part I believe is the labor market. Right. Now, labor market, you've mentioned a bit of that. You've mentioned the construction industry. Let's go to the biggest industry, which I would say I know of, is the health sector, NHS. Brilliant. Do you know, this one is not only students. Aside the fact that even as a student, it's the kind of the fastest job you would get once you come in is going into the health sector and supporting that sector. Aside the fact that you're providing support in terms of services, those guys are always it's always in the news. They're short staffed. The NHS is under pressure. There is so much in it. So students help in that area. To kind of relieve that pressure on NHS staff. 100%. Now, as it is currently, there's been a lot of influx of African into the country off the back of this COS. What's it called? Is it the non-skilled visa or the care work visa route? A lot of people are now coming in from that sector. Right. And what we've seen is, they're trying to. It seems like they're giving that good life to, like you said the other time, it's a win-win situation for both parties, the government and the people that are migrating into, coming into the country in that, better off from where you're coming from. But for the economy, for the government itself, that area is now, it might not be there yet. It might have not, addressed all of the needs and the pressure that the NHS is feeling. But I'm sure to a great extent, the influx of immigrants has lifted a lot of pressure. It has brought down that pressure 100%. To a very good rate. 100%. Because a lot of them come in and that is the job that they pick up, they're carers, HCAs, support workers here and there. If you get what I mean, I actually know people who are working in as an HCA now and have medical doctors they were medical doctors back in Nigeria, but for some reason, maybe money, they're able to afford all of this, their PLAB exam and all of that, and they are actually working as healthcare assistant. Right. And the quality of work that person will put in will be different from what an HCA, typical HCAs here that I've seen among the Britain, it's they've not gone for that high level education. What's HCA? healthcare assistant,
Okay.
basically.
Mm.
Like they've not gone to the uni and then they come back to be an healthcare assistant. They would rather like they'll be a nurse instead.
You know?
But like imagine immigrants that are learned, that have gone to uni, like a medical doctor being an HCA. Do you know the quality of, work
Yeah.
that person put
Yeah.
in that sector?
The kind of talent.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, it is all of this that has come together and has delivered this great healthcare that we think, if there is nothing else that you want to see that's good about the UK, the healthcare system is great.
Yeah.
Like these are the things that immigrants have come in to, impact into the system and uplift the way you see UK, the way you see their healthcare system from a global perspective. I don't know if I kind of make sense.
I mean, we shouldn't. We're not trying to undermine the efforts of the locals in terms of
Of course not. We're just trying to identify and like bring to light the impact of immigrants in all of this sector, and maybe tone down they're coming to take up our space. The government should do something about immigration. It's all of the news, like wanting to cut down on this, cut down on that, cut down. Like there is a lot of advantage if you look at it, and if the government actually does pump in the money that immigrants pay to. Do you know how much they pay for NHS fee? Like we are students. I think the people that are coming through the care, they don't have to pay, but we as health like students, you pay for that 1 year. If it's 2 years, if you come in as you pay yearly, like you pay your health, that HCA, IHS fee and all of that. So I mean, let's look at the brighter side. The government should also maybe do better in terms of improving these infrastructures that I'm talking about, putting more infrastructures, like put this money that we're paying back into the system, so it doesn't just look as if we're coming into your country to rip you off. Basically, like let the impact that we put in from the economy perspective, like from your labor market, from making things easier for people, let it show.
Yeah, definitely. And I must say that I mean, I've been here for quite a number of years, and I've not for once felt like from a British citizen felt like I am taking that job or anything. I mean, all these things I hear on the news.
But you hear it on the news.
Yeah, I hear on the news. But I have not for once. So it feels like the people are, they don't really mind as long as everything is alright, as long as
so who are these people that the government are saying they are complaining?
So do you know what I'm saying? I don't even understand it.
And that's what we're saying about the news pushing some sort of ideas that you would click into the society and you'll be like, for instance, let me just divert a little bit. For instance, like this is not just within the UK. This whole media news pushing a particular narrative is not just within the UK. Like it's not a UK thing.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, I think what I'm going to pick from what I'm about to say is, it feels like we learned it from these Westerners. So so what I was going to say is, back in Nigeria, when we in Lagos would hear news about Kaduna, Kano, all of this northern area, and the bombing and the this and that, and you're like, wait, what? And people are still living there. So I remember particularly this scenario. I think something we heard in the news, something is going on in Kano, and I have a family member that lives in Kano. We were in Lagos panicking, trying to reach her, like call her. They said this is happening. And when we were able to reach her, she was like, what? The kids went to school. The kids are currently in school. We are fine. Nothing. But look at the narrative look at the impression we are getting from the media, just being in Lagos, and we're like worried. So that's what I'm going to say. Like this whole narrative that's always been pushed by media.
Yeah.
Broadcasting companies, it's always careful. Different. You need to be careful.
You need to be fact find and look at the news.
Get your facts right before you actually, panic and contribute and say something and write something about all of this news. That's what I was just going to say. The fact that we do that as well back in.
Yeah, off the back of
Nigeria.
what you just said. So I went to serve in Adamawa last day. And this was when Boko Haram was rampaging everywhere. I was like, my parents were like, we're not going.
You can't go anywhere.
Not going anywhere.
Everything that's going on
in Northeast. Stop. Sorry. Yoruba. In Northeast, that they are killing themselves anyhow. You cannot go. You not. My mom, she did not want me to go. I was like, there was nothing that is happening. Nonetheless, I was quite scared too. But when I got there, it was really beautiful. It was a really beautiful place.
I served in Kaduna as well, and it was really. I was considering staying back.
I swear it was really beautiful.
It just wasn't the right decision
but
to make at the time.
The news would not just.
They won't present it like that.
Not just.
So it's another factor that actually contributes to these things. There is what actually happens. There is what there's a narrative that's been pushed out there, and there is what it is. I actually said that previously. But basically, two sides, I would say, to the coin, what actually happens and what the narrative is out there. But anyways, guys, is there any other aspects you want to?
Well, nothing really. I mean, it's just looking at it objectively and seeing the impact of immigrants on the economy of. I mean, it's not just Nigeria. It's not just the UK. It's in the US. It's in most Western countries. It's in the Middle East as well. There are a lot of Nigerians everywhere. There are a lot of Nigerians in Dubai, in Malaysia, in different countries around the world, and Nigerians, no, I'm not even. This is not even being sentimental. Nigerians are one of the most talented people you can ever have. One of the most hardworking set of people you can ever have. You can ever have in your workforce. So,
to be honest, I think I'm just going to come to the point. I'm going to drive this to the point where maybe we need to do better back in our country. Maybe
definitely.
Maybe we need to actually go back and make that country
definitely
better, because how can we be doing this much, like making this much progress on another country's economy, and then we leave ours back?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if we come together as a people and we put this effort into our own economy, regardless of the kind of government that we have, like we would always like overshadow the government. Like government is not more than the government is not more than people. Like people is more, we are more than the government.
I agree with
it's
you.
like it just gives that hope, and we need to see it, and maybe we need to begin to work on it, as opposed to just saying, oh, Nigerians were very intelligent, or Africans were very hardworking, and maybe not just Nigeria, like Africans in general. Like we should put that same energy back home. We should take that same energy back home. If it's coming abroad for, I don't know, a couple of years, making something for yourself, learning like we say we would, learning how to do things, and go back to the country and make that big impact. It always starts small, but we can get there if we begin to make that conscious effort that, okay, I'm only here temporarily. I'm definitely going to go back home and give something back to my country, because we have a lot. I feel like we're really talented, like you said. Like we're intelligent people, and
we are very.
It would be nice to push that into our own economy. Like these guys knows, these other countries, this Western country, they know that this is what you guys are capable of, and it's like, I don't know if this one will sound offensive, but it's like throw one small corn or food, or like we're suffering in a particular area, and then you give us this little thing, and then we rush at it and we come at it like this is it.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite sad. It is quite sad that back home, like our main problem is our government. It is quite obvious. Our main problem is, and on the back of what you said, a lot of Nigerians are going back home to support the Nigerian economy, to help, and even in our own little way as Japa Diary.
I was going to get there.
Our own little way as Japa Diary, we are helping the Nigerian economy in our own little way, by having people work as part of the team.
Yeah.
From Nigeria.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. So these are the things. Yeah.
More things we can do. Yeah, I mean, I was having a conversation with someone very recently, and we're looking at it like, okay, we actually need to, from at this stage of our life, start thinking of giving back to people.
Definitely.
Helping alleviate people from, that poor, background, alleviating poverty back home in our own very little way. Like it could be on a monthly basis, putting £30 in like the equivalent in Naira to so thing. I actually saw one of our friends lately on Love David on Instagram, like with his project 30 Thrive or something.
That is brilliant.
That is brilliant. And he takes it back to Ilorin, where he lived, where he grew up, where he schooled, and he's trying to like give education to a child back there. Just imagine, I'm sure every state in Nigeria has somebody back abroad. It could be in the UK, it could be anywhere. So coming together or thinking about home and saying, okay, this particular amount, I'm going to put it back home. I'm going to send a child to school. I'm going to help a particular family. I'm going to help a widow. Like it's something, and kind of that's another thought I have for Japa. Like by God's grace, if this does go well, I mean, we could start that NGO, that
Definitely,
charity organization,
100%.
whereby we could help people go to school. No, you don't have to come abroad. We might not be able to afford for you to come and school abroad, but get the basic education in Nigeria. Like, because it seems like, I mean, all we believe that, that basic education, at least get that education as a basic, and then you can make something for yourself off the back of that. If you don't choose to do any other thing, you can do that, but help people get that minimum education to make something of their life. So those are the kind of thinking that I have. I mean, in long term, for the Japa Diary, for us to be able to go back to the society, give back to Nigeria, go back home, help a child, help a family, in the little way that we can. And I think everybody should begin to think like that. I don't know, I feel like in some 20 years or 40 years from now, this particular set of people that jackpot between 2021 and 2023 was a lot. And that period needs to go into history. Like, I was part of those people. Do you know that surge of jackpot in that, like, into the UK? I was part of them, and this is what we did, or this is what we accomplished. Do you understand? Aside the fact that same era, that 2020 till now, the entire world produced like the most billionaires in the history of humanity. Yeah, and I mean, some years down the line, you would have your kids ask you, what were you doing at that point? Did you jump on that wagon? What did you do? What impact did you make? And these are legacy that you would leave for your kids at that point. So you need to start thinking of that at this moment and putting something in place and doing something for somebody. I would say then, oh, sorry, I wasn't rich, because whatever it is I was making at the time, I was pushing back to charity. I was making someone's life better and not just thinking about myself. So it's just a different way that you could look at it, to be honest. Thank you very much for staying with us till this point of the podcast. Just in a quick summary, I know we started off with media, the news, how they push, bad news and depressing news, how they need to do better. Like, if it's just, that 1 hour, like I said, a week for the good news. Yes, we did touch on that. Also, we talked about the impact migrants have on the UK economy. We also touched on the perspective that both parties have, the Britons, what they think. I mean, the impact of, having so much immigrants in their country, what they think the effective is, and what the reality actually is. So we did touch on that. We implored the government to do more, push that money, the money that we paid as school fees, push it back into the economy, improve the infrastructure, let the people that will come to share the land with them, share the space with them, not feel like, well, choking them, or you've come to take something away from me. And if that's not actually how they feel, like the media makes it seem, people should do better. Don't push the bad news, please. Push the good news. We're doing good things in this country. Like, push the good news and let people be like, oh yeah, it's you see, you need Nigerians, you need Africans in the economy. We'll boost it. Let other countries look at it and be like, okay, maybe we should open this gateway and say, open this gateway as well, and then have these people come in and better our economy, And then, as for you migrating, the migrants yourself, the highlight was not forgetting home, remembering home, helping somebody back there, uplifting someone and making their lives better. I hope you were able to pick one or two things from that. Thank you, and do not forget to share as usual. Like the video, leave your comment. Your suggestions will be well appreciated. If there's anything that you've experienced the same in alignment with what we said, or it differs from what we said, just leave it in the comment section and we'll be sure to reply you. My name is Menah, and
That's Japa.
Waye. You cannot say that your name is Waye again, but yeah. Bye, guys.